My first period I've done with no pads or tampons.
How have you found it?
I free bled. I wore period knickers for my whole period and a free bled. And honestly, I was reading stuff on TikTok about free bleeding, and it's true. The first day was horrific, like where you were laughing and like
squirts
out, But then my body started getting used to it. And every time I went to the toilet,
it would come out. Yeah.
10 out of 10 recommend free bleeding.
So what is free bleeding? Well, let's talk about it and we can cover some of the pros and cons. Well, free bleeding means choosing not to use traditional period products like pads and tampons or cups and instead letting your period flow naturally. It's about rejecting the stigma around menstruation as well, suggesting that it's dirty or that it needs to be contained. And it's also about avoiding some of the chemicals and preservatives that are contained in some of those non-reusable products. Free bleeding can work well for some people, especially if you have lighter days or if you're mainly based at home. But let's be real, there are some downsides. So depending on what you are using to absorb the blood, like sheets or towels, you might actually end up feeling wet because that blood isn't absorbed as well and taken away from the body. And that can get uncomfortable. It can also irritate your skin. And stagnant period blood can also have a bit of a prominent smell. It's not necessarily a problem, it's all natural, but some people might prefer to avoid this. These issues related to the wet feeling and smell could be avoided by using a good quality, breathable, absorbent period underwear, which you would also need to change frequently if that's the only form of period protection that you're using. I am all for making periods more sustainable and more comfortable, and if you like the idea of ditching those old school products, this is definitely something that you can try. Now remember that if you find your bleeding is particularly heavy or it's painful, you should be speaking with your doctor. Free bleeding might make these issues more noticeable because you can actually see the amount of blood that you're losing. So let me know if this is something that you wanted to try.